Tomorrow, March 28th, a new installment in the Dynasty series comes out. Medieval Dynasty: A New Settlement. This entry into the Dynasty series is a VR immersive experience, putting you on an open world map and letting you truly immerse yourself and really build in a VR experience. Now, before we get into the bulk of Medieval Dynasty, let's look at what platforms are supported by this game. Currently is the MetaQuest 3, the MetaQuest Pro, and the MetaQuest 2, and it is only purchasable on the MetaQuest store. They are looking into the future of putting it onto other VR platforms, but right now it's just the MetaQuest store. When it comes out tomorrow, it will be a price tag of $29.99, but if you pre-order it ahead of time, you'll get a 16% discount and a added bonus of a Hunter Skin Pack. The Hunter Skin Pack includes a custom bracelet, a backpack, a bow, a knife, a spear, and a axe skin. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the bulk of the game. One of the things that's most beautiful about survival games is the option to choose. And Medieval Dynasty: A New Settlement did not cheap out on this, choosing between doing a more story-driven environment or a sandbox environment, and they allow you to choose whether or not to go through the tutorial or to skip the tutorial altogether, which I will have to say many survival games don't offer that option, so it was nice to see inside of a VR game. One of the other beautiful things about this game is that it feels like almost everything is interactable to a certain extent, while not taking away the ease of access and the feeling of accomplishment in the game. What I mean by this is that the crafting system in the game, when it comes to crafting some of your early on tools, is very intuitive. It allows you to feel like you're actually crafting a tool without it being too tedious or time consuming to do so. You have the materials, you select the blueprint you wish to do, and you're able just to add the materials, and when it's complete, you just snatch it out of the air where it's hovering. And this is a very interesting take on making sure that you still feel like you're crafting the weapons from scratch, but also not feeling like you're taking forever to do so, or it's a really annoying process. Now let's go ahead and talk about building up your settlement to be able to start populating with villagers. In the Medieval Dynasty: A New Settlement, it is so easy to do this. All you do is pick out your book from your wrist, you choose the building option, and then you look at the building you wish to do. Do note, it does require materials to place a building. So I chose to place the basic house building. Once the basic house building was placed down, I was then able to customize it how I wish the layout of the house to be. Do I want a doorway here, a wall, or a window? And then once I was able to decide what I wanted, a wall, window, or doorway there, I was able to choose do I want a wattle one, a stone one, or a wood plank one. And I was able to then start building. One of the things I enjoyed about the modular system is that if it required 6 sticks and let's say some straw, I didn't have to swing my hammer to add each individual stick. I just swung my hammer once and it added all the sticks that were required, and the same with the straw when I swung it a second time. So if the wall required 3 materials to build and it was 12 stone, 6 sticks, and 5 clay, it would only take 3 swings to fully add in all the materials. This is really nice because I don't want to be swinging my hammer 300 times. What's cool about this system is that it allows you to build immersively and while enjoying the VR system without feeling like you're just grinding or being really annoyed about the system. The other cool thing about the building was I felt like I was actually in control of where I was placing the buildings, and it wasn't like I was being forced into only building in one area. It felt like I truly could build anywhere on the map and actually have full reign over how I decided to build my village, which I truly enjoyed. Now, when it came to the insides of the house, you have a bedroll, you have a kitchen, and you have a storage chest. It's very easy to open the storage chest. It interacts and works just like your backpack, making for a very intuitive VR experience. The kitchen, on the other hand, I fumbled with, and I started cutting up my meat with a knife on the cutting board, kind of like an idiot, without really looking at the instructions just above the kitchen. To be honest, folks, make sure you pull out your cooking book, look at the recipes because they do have requirements, and choose the recipe you wish to cook with. Once you have a recipe chosen, you can then follow the instructions on how to cook it, and then you just have to make sure you light a fire in your cauldron, or if you don't need to light a cauldron, you're able to put it inside one of your bowls or eat it there and then. But that was one of my first mistakes. Now, when it came to hunting for food, I definitely struggled with using the spear as a throwing weapon. I do enjoy the system of being able to hold the spear in your right hand or left hand, depending on which hand's dominant, and then using the other hand to point where I want to throw it and then trying to throw it. Now, I'm not a very good hunter with the throwing spear, but I was able to hold the spear in my hand regularly and do some stabbing motions, and I was able to take out a fox or two and be able to harvest them. Now, I will state that using the knife to harvest at first glance looks like all you have to do is doing sweeping motion. You actually need to put the knife inside of the bullseye mark and then glide it through the dotted lines. Very easy to do once you learn how to do it, but don't repeat my mistakes. The other thing I enjoyed in the game, and I'm pretty sure I'm more excited to do it, is the use of the bow and arrow. Looks like it would actually really improve my hunting game because it looks like I have a lot more control in that situation. And I do enjoy that the spear is more of a skill player person based situation and less of a game mechanic. So, using the bow and arrow, I'm sure I'm going to baffle there too, but it may not require as much skill as throwing the spear, which is pretty cool. If you ever wanted to practice with using the bow in the main menu, you can pick up the bow that's next to you and practice shooting at the archery target nearby. I enjoy doing that myself because I was unable to craft a bow inside of the VR experience yet, but I am looking forward to it. Now you might be all like, hold up, wait a minute here. You said that there was a storyline, and that means there might be quests. Yes, there is a storyline inside of Medieval Dynasty: A New Settlement. However, I'm not going to go into the storyline too much because I don't want to spoil anything for you guys who do enjoy story mode in these games. But I will talk about the quest system and its ease of access and quality of life. In the VR mode, it is so easy to look at your active quests. You just grab the book, go over to your journal tab, and you're able to see the quests categorized. You have your main quest, side quest, and a couple of other categories. Main quests are easy to follow. Side quests can be accepted from villagers with an exclamation mark above their heads. And you can go up to these billboards that have pieces of paper on them. And once you snatch one of those pieces of paper, if you hold the paper up, you get to read all the details and what the requirements are to complete the quest before you accept them. When you choose to accept them, you just left click and voila, you now have accepted the quest. One of the quests I accepted was to make 3 stone knives because apparently the person who had been stone knives sold to recently thought they were questionable quality and wanted to be able to inspect good quality stone knives to make sure they weren't going to get ripped off from again. Once I crafted the stone knives, I saw a person sitting at a table with a question mark on their head. I went up to them, I waved to them, which is how you engage with villagers, and I was able to then complete the quest and I received my rewards. When it came to trading with NPCs, it's pretty much the same system. You go up to the NPC that you wish to trade with and you wave at them, and a dialog box opens or a trading window opens. On the left side is your trading area, and on the right side is their trading area. And all you have to do is drag the items that you wish to buy from them onto their side, or the items that you wish to sell to them on your side, or occupy both sides to try to make a barter with maybe some extra gold traded in between. This is a very intuitive and easy to use system, and I enjoy that they put an effort into trying to make it immersive instead of me walking up to a person and like clicking on them with my finger or jabbing them with my fist. I am now walking up and doing a friendly hello wave to be able to interact with them, and I like that part of the VR experience. So let's go ahead and talk about combat finally. Now, combat in the game, from what I experienced with a wolf, was quite an interesting and kind of hard experience. Again, I'm not very good at combat or hunting, so you can imagine I had a bit of trouble. But I did worry about my life, and I was trying to get away from the wolf. Now, I do know that you can find bandits in this game, and you can encounter bears as well, much like the other Dynasty games, so you have to be careful out there. But combat in this game seemed fun, immersive, and I was truly trying to dodge and get out of the wolf's line of sight as much as I can while trying to get a few jabs in with my spear, and ultimately I was able to take care of the wolf, although I walked away with pretty close to death status. Now, I have to say, as far as being intuitive and quality of life features in the game, it really made me feel like I was being immersed in the game and having fun. I was able to easily learn how to craft once I learned how to grab the book and everything else I was explaining in the tutorial. When I got into the open world map part of it and started to explore the map and start building, hunting, and even romancing and talking and trading with NPCs, it was all very easy for me to grasp. And most of the mistakes or the things that I got frustrated with were because I wasn't following the procedure or I wasn't actually listening or reading the things in proper format, and that was on me. But I would have to say, once I started to actually take a step back and stop rushing, I was able to easily figure all this stuff out, and it came second nature to me once I read it once or twice on how to do it, which was pretty darn cool. Now, graphically, the game is not the most beautiful. Let's just go ahead and get that out there. But for a VR game, you can tell that they definitely tried. The water is flowing, there's definitely lots of immersive graphics trying to go on, but they did tone down the graphics in different ways to try to make it so you can easily play this game on the Meta Quest 2, 3, or Pro without issue. I played this game on my Meta Quest 2 without it hooked up to a PC just by itself, and I didn't really experience any major stuttering or any issues. And the file size for this game wasn't very big for the Meta Quest 2, which was really welcome. The other thing I would have to say I enjoyed is that I definitely enjoyed the base building and the settlement building experience. Well, yes, I definitely think that it can be improved upon. I would like to see ourselves having to build the roofs of our house. I know it may sound a little bit kind of an extra step, but the fact is, I only have to build my walls and my roof automatically completes. Was a little bit of a letdown when it came to the house. May not be the experience on some of the other buildings, but I would like to see that maybe be more of an option. Also, I did notice that a lot of the NPCs that I walked up to and waved on uh, didn't really have any interactions. They were, the villagers at least, were kind of like, oh, we're done with you, or I'm super busy. And there wasn't a lot of dialogue. Maybe the fully released version of this game will have a lot of options for that, but I am excited to see them upgrade and make the village NPCs have a little bit more dialogue other than just the quest ones or quest givers. The other thing I enjoyed about the game was the recruiting of settlers or romancing was very much like the other medieval dynasty games, or the dynasty games in general, but it definitely is very easy for newcomers to understand. You need to have dynasty reputation to be able to bring them, and you have to have certain requirements to even start recruiting sellers, which I believe is a house, a well, and a resource shed. But overall, I really enjoyed this game, and I can't wait to explore it more, and I hope you folks are ready for it. On March 28th, this game is releasing once again, and it is only on the Meta Store, and it is available for the Meta Quest 3, the Meta Quest Pro, and the Meta Quest 2. And if you pre-order it, you'll get a 16% discount along with the Hunter Skin Pack, which comes with a backpack, a custom skin armband, the bow, the axe, the spear, and the knife, all custom skins, and don't give you any advantages other than looking cool. I hope you folks have enjoyed this review from State of Survival, and I'll talk to you guys later. Goodbye for now.